He plays video games all day, and his wife is fed up.
Hey, what's up? Today I'm going to be talking about Moira. I'm going to be doing a two-part video. First up is just about the hero, a guide to her, how to play her, what comps you want to play her with, all that good stuff. And then the second video will be an advanced tips guide. It will be a much shorter video, just a little bit of advanced stuff, just to give you that little bit of edge to help you rank, and if you're already familiar with Moira. So if you do already know how Moira operates, I'd still watch this video, give some insight into how you want to play her and when she might be more valuable versus other times. Cool, that's my intro. So I will first off, we're going to be talking about Moira. Let me pick her. So I'm just going to be describing her very basically, so if you want to skip the first couple minutes, you already know how she operates, go ahead. But there is some interesting stuff in here, I promise, if you already do know. So first off is her healing. It's her left hand, left click for PC, console it's RT or LT, I forget which one. So it does 75 healing while you're holding it on people, while you're spraying it, or sorry, 70 healing per second while you're spraying it on people. So while it's on them, 70 healing. And then if you put it on them for a quick second, you'll see that little, oops, sorry I didn't hit it on there, that little yellow circle that goes on him. It's a little tough to see. That will do 35 healing over the span of 2 seconds. So it's like 17.5 every second. Well, that little thing's on there, you just put a little boop. We'll talk about that more in a bit. So up next is her right hand. It's where she sucks people. So if you hold it, it will do 50 damage per second of damage, and then 20 damage or 20 healing per second for you. So I'll take some damage real quick. Come on. Okay. And then you watch my health bar, it'll go up. It is vampiric. So that's that. Next up is her orb. This is her orb. She has healing orb and damage orb. So damage orb does not affect enemy objects, so it will not hurt a torp turret or immortality field or items like that. None players. It does affect Bob though, I believe. If it is amplified by Mercy Beam, it'll only amplify the amount of damage being done. These orbs do have a total, I believe the damage orb does 250 damage total. The healing orb does 300 healing total. The amplification will make it do more at once, but it will not increase the total amount. So the damage for the damage orb is 50 damage per second. It is up to 200 damage, sorry. And then the healing is 65 per second, up to 300 total from the orb. And that is from the orb for all the players. So if one player can get 300 healing, or 6 players can get 50 healing apiece or so. The projectile speed of these is 20 meters per second, unless it is hooked onto someone. Otherwise, it is 5.5. Yes, while it's tethered. So if you'll watch.
This will restore you.
Okay, he didn't need healed. That's why. Let me do it by these guys. Oh, he almost so he doesn't die. Alright, if you'll watch, while it's tethered, it's much, much slower, and then it speeds right off. So next up is Fade. That's her second to last ability. I actually need to get some ultimate real quick so I can show you her last one in a moment. But Fade is on a 6-second cooldown. It will cleanse Moira of status and damage. So if she has Anna Purple on her, or Widowmaker Mine, or some damage over time, or some negative effect on her, it'll cleanse her of it. So if you have that on you, get rid of it. There you go. And it can also be used to escape abilities such as Graviton and Graphitic Flux, so Sig ult, Zarya ult, and it also makes you invulnerable for that amount of time. So if Ren shatters right as you're in the Fade, you will also not get shattered. You're pretty much invincible in there. That could get changed soon. This is as of October 4th, 2020. I know previously, a few months ago, the devs did they've been trying to rework Moira and make one of the PTR patches, or the experimental patches, they made it so her Fade no longer got her out of Grav and Sigma ult. So that might not be true when you're watching this, but as far as now it is. Sorry, let me swap out and scroll down a little bit in my dock. So next up is Coalescence, which I need to get that charged. So there it is. So Coalescence does 70 damage per second to enemy heroes and 140 healing to teammates. It'll heal Moira for 50 per second, and then it gives her a 50% movement speed increase. So let's show it.
Surrender to my
so there's that. There's the 100 or the 70 damage. and there is the 140 per second, and you can do both at the same time, and it does go through, it goes through allies, enemy players, shields, everything. Not walls and stuff, and not Maywall, I don't believe. So that's Cole, that's her ultimate. So that's the basics, those are the controls, and her actual abilities. So this next part, I will be showing you her gameplay. So you should see some gameplay on screen right now. So your general gameplay tips. This is not, Overwatch is very dynamic. When situation, I can be telling you something that you want to, what guidelines you want to stick to, but you could be in a situation where this may not apply. The enemy team or your team may be playing in a certain way, anything. But so in gameplay with Moira, you want to play close to your tanks, a lot closer than Ana. Ana positioning is key just because she can't be effective if she's too close because of how much more she needs to move her cursor and how much more diveable she is and how easily she is to be able to be caught out of position. But Moira with Fade and with her short healing range, she needs to be close to your tank line. You still want to play geometry with her. There's no point to you peeking for no reason, but you want to be much closer to your team. That's why, as I'll talk about further, she favors a brawly kind of comp. Another thing you'll want to do in her gameplay is you'll want to constantly be keeping people topped off. And what I mean by that is every now and then you'll just want to keep spritzing them. This is for two reasons. One is to constantly be healing them. If they were to get hurt, they get healed. But another one is to get you ult. If you're constantly you're constantly healing 35 HP, say you heal 35 HP on 3 targets in 1 second, which is easy. A Junkrat bomb goes off and it's close to them. 35 HP times 3 is just over 100, and her ult, I believe, is 2,000 to get. I don't know the math on that, so I don't know why I went into it. But every little bit adds up, especially with Moira, because she heals so much trickle damage, just like Lucio does passively. Another gameplay tip is in between healing, you want to give little taps of damage just to recharge that healing. Moira's healing is on a resource meter. You'll see it in the left side of her UI. I believe it has 4 total seconds of healing, which I think is close to D.Va's DM as of now. But you'll want to be consistently recharging that while you're using it. So that's why it's best to be constantly flipping in between healing damage, just to conserve your resource and have it ready for when you're in a team fight and you need to be healing more than damaging. As far as orb, you'll want to save it for when enemies are getting near critical, not right when they hit critical, but right before, because the orb does have a little bit of travel time when it's on people. It's only 5.5 meters per second when it's on them. So you'll want to save it for those critical moments. Otherwise, as far as damage, that's healing, and we'll get into the usage for those abilities. This is just quick gameplay tips. For the only time you'll want to use damage is when the fight's already over, you've already got 3 picks, or it feels like the fight's over, the enemy's trying to regroup. You can use it to get a little extra damage, or if you are in a fight and you see a squishy in the back, a Zen that's a quarter health, and you really want him dead, it's fine to toss it out. If you're going to get more value out of that than the healing orb, then do it. While you're in a team fight, don't be afraid to damage. A lot of Moiras do damage too liberally, so it has made Moira's pretty scared to damage. But remember, damage is Moira's only other utility. It's her only utility. Mercy has damage boost and res. Lucio has speed. Ana has anti and sleep. But Moira has damage and healing. So, you don't need to always be healing. Your utility is damage. So if there's a target that's low, or even if there's not a target that's low, your team just isn't low. There's no point just constantly peppering them. If there's nothing really happening. If you're in poke phase and there's somebody close enough, there's a Genji, he's climbing, and he's close, damage him. Fine. Okay, so next we're going to go into ability usage. So for her orb, you want to be trying to use it for healing. Like I said previously, you'll only want to use damage orb to secure a kill on a squishy, or if the fight's already over, or a poke will definitely be happening for the next 10 seconds until you get an orb back. You'll generally want to toss a healing orb to give the team confidence in a fight. Or this is when you want to... I'm talking about when you want to toss out the healing orb. So you want to give your team confidence in a fight. You don't have speed, and your team needs to get in there. This is the time I use at least as far as in regards to giving them confidence, because the orb's travel time, it won't be there very much at the fight. So really when you'll want to use it is when your teammates are getting low and you're close. For instance, if you're Ryan Zarya and you're on King's Row, I use King's Row a lot because it's just so easy to exemplify. But you've walked through first choke, and you're trying to get near point, but you know, you're getting pretty low. Ryan's getting low on shield. You can just throw a healing orb and have it reflect between your team and one of the parts of the geometry. It'll keep your team up while your Ryan's regenerating shield, or you guys are taking damage. Or when you're healing resources low, that's another good time to use it. So healing, remember to tap it. So you're always putting that HOT, the healing over time, on them. People that play MMOs or stuff like that, or RTSs will understand that, the healing over time. It'll constantly have that little yellow orb on them. I'll be showing that in a clip. Put the little yellow orb, that's how you know it's on them. It lasts 2 seconds. But if people are getting low, don't be afraid to spray it. You don't need to constantly be conserving your resources. You can get it back. It's actually pretty quick. You don't have to hold damage on them for very long to get all your resources back. So Suck, that's her damaging ability. You'll want to swap between this and heal frequently, as I said. If you tunnel vision on healing, you can run out of resources mid-fight, and that's what you don't want to do. Moira is a burst healer, so if you don't have any burst heals, what use is she? But on the flip side, you don't want to damage too much. Damage is her only utility, but to put it simply, every hero on your team can damage people. Every single hero. But generally, unless you have a soldier or a hog, only 2 heroes on your team can heal. Gotta scroll. Fade. So you'll want to use it sparingly but decisively. It's probably like that doesn't have any meaning. But so for example, if Hog looks like he wants to hook you, rather than take the chance of Hog hooking you and you having to act quick, or you having to hope that Hog doesn't aim at the right part of your hitbox, use it before Hog even gets the opportunity to hook. Like I said, decisively. It's better to take the chance of him not even wanting to hook you, and maybe you wasted Fade. It's on a 6-second cooldown, versus him one-shotting you and your team being down burst heals. And one of the biggest issues I see Moiras have, and this is concerning Fade, is they use Fade to initiate. This is wrong. Think of it like Winston. If Winston were to, Winston with no bubble, because you don't have any bubble. If Winston has no bubble, and he initiates with his jump, he can't do anything. He's just in there. He has nothing. He's just 500 HP of ult, 500 heals HP of ult. That's it. That's all you'll be if you initiate with Fade. Don't do that. Coalescence or ultimate. You'll want to use it to initiate team fights or to sway them in your favor. Say you're down 1 or you guys are 5v5ing and you're not sure how the fight's going to go. You can use this to sway the team fight. And this is a lot like Valkyrie. Think of it like that. It's not it can be a game changer, but it really can just be used to sway the team fight or to enable more confidence with the team. And a guideline for Coalescence to make sure you don't tunnel vision, I use this myself, is to make sure you have a teammate and an enemy in your Coal at all times. And there are this is just general. This is dynamic. You don't have to be doing this, but you know there are reasons not to. Like there's a Zen in the back that you really want to kill. You can be aggressive and kill him, or maybe your Ryan's 1 in the back and he needs to be healed, or else it's just going to be a 5v6, even though you do have all 6. But generally, just keep as much of your team and the enemy team in Coalescence's line of sight as possible, and you'll get a ton of value from it. Okay, so that is her ability usage. Here, when to use Moira? This question I get a lot is, when do I use her, what comps? So comps that brawl. So if your team has Ryan Zarya as the easiest example to give, Moira's a great pick. Ana, of course, is a good pick as well. Great pick. But Moira will just get so much value out of her heal. And then since you're brawling, you'll be up and close, so you'll be able to suck the enemy and regenerate heal. You'll also be able to use her when there are enemy comps that deny Ana value. This is when you want to swap, or you can start off with this. So if they have a Winston Ball or any combination of Winston Diva Ball, dive tanks, they're going to be constantly diving. If you're Ana, they're going to be on you. Even if you have sleep, you're making it more difficult on yourself to play by playing Ana there, because you only have 1 sleep. And even if you could do everything 100% right as Ana and still lose against a comp like that. So it's just easier on yourself. You're getting more. It's an easy way to get value out of yourself. Easy way to enable yourself is to go a hero that can get more value in that situation. Other heroes that she's effective playing against are dive heroes. Based on such a short cooldown, they'll have to use their cooldowns to get to you. You get out, and then they're sitting ducks for the rest of your team. You just call them out. Another example here I give is like Doom Genji or Tracer or something like that. Another comp she works in currently. She is in the current meta comp, as I put it. Let me just make sure the camera stays on. She is in the current meta comp, which is Ball. I mean, I could be a little bit wrong, but it's Ball, Winston, Lucio, Reaper, Sombra. I haven't actually seen this meta comp a lot, just because it came from Overwatch League, and it's a difficult comp to run because it requires a lot of cohesiveness on the team, and requires you guys to call out and jump on one target. And it's played, from what I understand, how people think dive is played, where you jump on a target, go back, regroup, jump on a target. Whereas dive, you hold angles, and then once you've got cooldowns out, you can pick targets and stuff like that. But yeah, it's very get in, get out, and the reason Moira is played during this ult. So here is, I'm sure why a lot of people will be watching, or why a lot of people are watching Moira videos right now. Her role in that comp is, or as far as I understand, I said that a lot, but I'm not perfect. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. Because you can throw damage orb, you can be on teammates, you can be up close, fade out, and then what the comp does is it goes back and regroups with speed, and then Moira can quickly use an orb or just heal up the whole team in moments, versus Anna having to single target heal, and then you can all get right back out there and jump on a target. That's her role in that comp. So those are the comps that she's useful in, and she's honestly a very good. And another thing I forgot to mention was she's very good for stalling on the cart, just because of if you can get her healing orb to reflect on something, you can stay up, and then once orb's gone, you can fade. By the time you're done with that, you might have orb again. So great staller as well. That's really it for the base guide. I highly recommend going to the advanced tips guide if you're feeling confident at this point. A lot of it, you're probably feeling like I'm missing a couple things. If you did know a lot of the stuff, that's because I wanted to make an advanced video. But that is the baseline video. Be sure to go to the advanced. It'll give you more tips on how exactly to use your cooldowns, what situations to use what in, and just more advanced stuff as far as just like little things that can give you the advantage over other Moiras that might not have this knowledge. So thank you for watching this video. Really appreciate it.